I did not think that I was gonna film this video. Yet, here we are. Today I wanted to talk about my truth. Some of the things that I have never discussed when it comes to YouTube as a business, when it comes to sponsorships, when it comes to why I fired my ex-manager. Things that I never thought that I would open my mouth about. Because in my head, I'm like, well, whose business is it? But at the same time, this is my community. And if there's anyone who has supported me more, it's you. And if there's anyone who deserves to know the truth and my opinion as I see it, it's you. And I've seen other creators do this, which really inspired me. And I really resonated with what a lot of other people are saying. And being someone who's been on YouTube since 2009, but officially since 2010, a lot of people don't know I had a channel I deleted. I do want to talk about some of these things. And God, some of these things I never thought I would talk about, but like from social climbing to like brand sponsorships that went wrong, to mistakes that I've made, to owning up to that, you know, to what YouTube used to be versus what it is and where it's going. The person who really inspired this was Tati. Hers was like the first video that I saw on this. And from the first time I ever met Tati, probably 5 years ago, I have always respected her in such amazing ways. And especially seeing her grow. She is a businesswoman now. She does beauty vlogs. If you don't know who she is, I really, really love her. I would recommend checking her out. But she said some things that I thought to myself like, wow, I have a lot to say on that. And then my head automatically kicked in with, well, it's nobody's business. It's none of your business. Like, I've made my mistake of sharing too much online, whether it's my medical conditions or whether it's relationships that I literally had issues with yet that I put out to the public. There are things that I've shared and I've regretted. So in my head, I'm like, it's nobody's business. It's not my business to share. Why would I? But then I came to this conclusion that it is people's business. Especially if you support this channel, especially if you watch and consume content on YouTube, you deserve to know what's behind it. And especially those struggles that some creators feel, seeing as it's changed so much in the past 8 to 10 years. So I first started a channel that was called Cassandra Cream Sheen, based off of Max Cream Sheen. And the reason why is because for me, YouTube, I started watching it 2007, 2008. And like, I watched Kandee Johnson. I watched, you know, literally ex-Sparkage. These were the women that I loved because they made me feel connected when nobody else did. The Fowler sisters, like, those are the people that I watched where I learned how to do my makeup. And it's because of YouTube that I figured out how to do my makeup, which allowed me to feel good about myself. And then I realized that I'm worth more than what I look like. And I started working on my internal issues and cleared my skin. But over the past 8 years, I've had this channel, Cassandra Bankson. And it was started off as Diamonds and Heels 14, and it's grown. And along with that growth, so has YouTube grown. And I think that it's important to talk about because this isn't always what YouTube was, and especially with all the drama that's going on currently. I hate saying that word because I hate feeding it. Anyone who watches my channel knows that I don't talk about the friends that I have in the YouTube industry. I hardly ever do collabs because of it. I don't name drop. I don't talk about this kind of drama because I'm about the science. I even stepped away from the beauty industry. But YouTube is in a really interesting space. And I think it's gotten here because of digital explosion. You know, the CEO of YouTube has talked about how YouTube has changed over the years, and Susan, that's her name, she said YouTube used to be this little village and everybody knew each other and it was really friendly and amicable. But as things got bigger, it became harder to manage. And especially I think when brand deals and sponsorships started coming in, creators started being disrespected by brands, brands started disrespecting creators, and creators also disrespected brands and did a lot of damage. And yeah. So let's start out, like when I first started YouTube, first off, there was no such thing as being paid to be a YouTuber. Being a YouTuber was not a career, it was not a job, it wasn't really something you could do full time. It was people who were just sharing content because they had a passion, or like Tati said, people felt weird, they felt strange, they didn't fit in real life, and that was me. I literally didn't fit in with anybody, and I had figured out how to cover my skin at that point, and I started sharing this is what I did. My first channel, Cassandra Cream Sheen, I did not talk about my acne. I literally was just like, hey guys, I really want to be a part of this community. This is my name. This is who I am. So awkward. So awkward. I wonder if YouTube could like ever resurrect like those really old video files. I did a proactive review. It was a long time ago. But I remember the first time that I got an email from YouTube about monetization. I don't know why I do this in quotes, but they essentially said, you have the ability to monetize your videos. And I was like, monetize? What is a monetize? That doesn't sound like something I want. And so I missed out on a lot of money because I didn't decide to look into it. But YouTube essentially started offering ads on videos. And the way that worked is that, you know how you like watch a TV commercial? TV commercials have ads, the advertiser pays, and they get exposure for their brand. And that's the same thing on YouTube. When you watch that ad all the way through, if you click on that ad, it helps the creator. And that's just the way it is. If you have more views, you get more ad content and you get more revenue. And YouTube started implementing that. And I don't think that really shook up the community. I think it made YouTube a little bit more accessible for people, because especially some of the huge creators, they were able now to make this a full-time job. And if people haven't tried making digital content, people don't know how much work goes into it. You've heard me talk about it a little bit. Videos can be anywhere from 24 hours to 5 days to months. The time it takes to research, to check your sources, to create a video, to sit down, to put the makeup on, to get ready, to export, to edit. God, the editing is my arch nemesis. To upload, to do metadata, to do tags, especially if you want to do something that is really creative or has like a storyline or something to it. And if you've never tried being a cinematographer or making movies, essentially, a lot of people don't know what goes into that. But it takes up a lot of time. And the reason that YouTube started is because people started and that was their hobby. And then people started to get paid for it, which was great because it was literally financially supporting people to do more of what made them amazing and what made this community amazing. But then something started happening where people started coming in who didn't necessarily love the process. They just liked this idea of having people listen to them. And I mean, that's human, right? We all want people to listen to us, but like fame or people wanting money. And especially I think where a lot of the corruption entered was when brand sponsorships came along. And I think that that's positive and negative. Because on one hand, if a brand that I already use and love, like something that I already support, is willing to pay me to do what I already do and promote something new of theirs that I stand behind because we have similar morals and values, that's great. And it enables me to do this. It enables me to pay my very expensive school tuition. It enables me to live a life where I can spend the time and money to allocate and research these things and to uncover the science. But the problem is when a creator is, put down and has money dangling in front of their face to promote a product that they don't test properly or they don't try. And I want to talk specifically about how that has kind of corrupted YouTube and also how in the past it corrupted me. And I have made a full 180. I don't say 360 because that's a whole circle, but I've made a 180 and I will no longer do that. And I'm really glad that I've grown and learned from that. But that also gets into what happened in the past, why I fired my manager, what happened with a manager, and really being taken advantage of by an industry because I didn't do my research or didn't stand up for myself. And bottom line is I didn't stick with my morals and my values. And it's because of my viewers, it's because of my little butterfly family that you guys said, Cassandra, this doesn't match your morals and values. Why are you doing this? I'll specifically share. So as YouTube got bigger, these brands started coming in. They said, these people have huge audiences. We want to pay money to advertise. And at first that was really great. Like I said, it enabled creators to do things. But then people started selling out. And that's also when a lot of social climbing happened. In beauty, you've heard of things like Gen Beauty and Ipsy, and that is amazing. They are these huge conventions where beauty and skincare lovers and makeup lovers come together to talk about their favorite products and learn what's new from brands. And it was really great because we got to make friends who had the same ideas that we did. But just like you could get social climbed in the modeling industry or at work or with anything else, certain people who I'm not gonna name, certain people took advantage of that and took advantage of those friendships. And some of those friendships were authentic. And I have friends who you've never seen on my channel or on my Instagram that are big in the beauty industry. And I don't talk about them because I know what it feels like to be social climbed. And I don't want that friendship to be that, because I care more about this human and their heart than how many followers they have. And I'll also discuss, like, I used to be quote unquote bigger on YouTube back before YouTube blew up and everyone and their mom's dog and their mom's dog's babysitter had a YouTube channel. But because of some of the choices I made when I got my manager, my first manager, and when I did some brand deals that weren't authentic to me, I lost a lot of that. And rightfully so, because I was being a dishonest little conceited snot. And I own up to the person that used to be. But essentially, as these brands started coming in and we started having these fun little conventions, we were able to make these friends. And people really did start social climbing. And when I was bigger, whatever, you know, because numbers really don't matter to me. My whole thing is that if I can reach someone's life the way that YouTube touched mine, I'm happy as a clam. I just love researching and doing makeup. The more, I guess, is better, but that's only because the message at its core is good. And the more people who know that, I think the better. But when I was big, I got social climbed. And I know what it feels like to have someone pretend to be your friend, just to try to get your voice, or to try to get views off of you, or, you know, to try to get what you have, or to try to get your brand contacts, or to try to get, like, just to be sneaky and get what you can give them. And it's like, I think it's a basic human thing to be wanted. And I think that if you're a little bit dumb, or if you're a little bit naive, kind of like I was, you'll be friends with that person because you're like, wow, this person cares about me, not realizing that that person cared about what you can give them or what you can do for them. And this happened to me a couple times in the beauty industry. And since that happened, I learned from it. And that's when I kind of made the choice not to do collabs on my channel, because I didn't want people to feel the way that I had felt. And like, I've got friends in the beauty industry that you would never know because it's nobody's business. And now, like, especially maybe the last 3 months, I've kind of been rethinking that, because collabs aren't a bad thing. It's not about using people. And especially if I have a friend who has a voice that I trust, I don't care if they're YouTube famous or if they're a doctor or if they're just a next door neighbor who found some cool beauty products, I think those collabs are worthwhile, because if I appreciate that person's voice and opinion, I want to share that with you. So that's kind of why I'm rethinking the collab thing. But in the past, like, I would never do it because I didn't like feeling exploited, and I didn't want other people to feel that way. But specifically when it comes to brands outside of social climbing, which was an issue, there was this infiltration of brand money coming in. Brands saying, we'll pay you this to sponsor your videos, we'll do this, we'll do that. And at this time, when I was larger, my channel was larger, I was responding to emails from subscribers, which was amazing, but also hard and emotionally draining, because I'm not a doctor. And, you know, people would come to me with issues with their skin, and like, I'm a healer. Like, I just want to hug people and help people, and I want everyone to be my friend. And I know that not everyone will be my friend, and I know that I can't save other people, but like, it's in my heart to try. That's just always kind of how I've been. And when I was overwhelmed with that, when I was overwhelmed in the modeling industry, I was in a relationship that a lot of people don't know the details of, because I put out a very different picture on social media. People don't know that I was self-harming. I was hurting myself. I was never diagnosed with an eating disorder, but I had some habits that were very self-destructive. And all of that was hidden, because at this time I was big, and all of a sudden I felt this pressure to kind of be somebody or like live up to those expectations. And while all of these brands were trying to contact me, and a lot of these brands were things that I loved, I was overwhelmed. I essentially cried to a friend who worked in the modeling industry, who owned her own clothing line. And she said, well, have you ever thought about having a manager? And I was like, what's a manager? She told me that in traditional talent, someone like an actor who has a lot of things going on will have a person who literally helps them talk to brands, helps them book travel, helps them manage their schedule. And I thought to myself, oh my God, like, someone else can share this amount of work that I have. Is my computer overheating? Please don't overheat. But I thought to myself, oh my God, like, can somebody else share this with me? And she made a recommendation, and it was my fault for not looking into the details of that recommendation. This woman I still love to this day, and I trust this woman to her core. But the person that she recommended to me was somebody that she knew who had worked in the industry, but didn't know the details. And I didn't know that this person wasn't really that credible. I knew that my friend, my mentor, recommended her, so I hired her on the spot. She asked for what's called commission, and she asked for a monthly retainer. Now, I did not know that this contract was written very much in her favor, and that it was actually illegal for her to be taking that amount of commission plus retainer from me. And what that basically means, commission is like a percentage. So if I earn X amount, she automatically gets a certain percent. It was 20%. And on top of that, I was paying her a retainer, meaning like an allowance, thousands of dollars a month. And if I did not earn money, I still had to pay her that retainer. And if I did earn money, I had to pay her that retainer, that allowance, on top of this 20%. And I thought that was normal. Dumb, right? I mean, overwhelmed, young, really not emotionally stable. I can see why I made a mistake. But for 2 years, I got locked into a contract with someone who really was not good for me in the long run. And this manager, I want to be clear about something. This manager, I do think at the end of the day that she had my best interest in mind. Because if you think about it, if I didn't succeed, she wouldn't succeed. She only earned money, like the more I earned, the more she would earn. But at the same time, she did not align with my morals and values. And she put me in a lot of positions that were not good for me emotionally, business-wise. She didn't take care of me in a way that a manager should take care of their talent, or as a human should kind of take care of a human. And specifically, there were some times, which I don't want a brand name, but I'm gonna drop brand names, this person was older. This was my manager. I looked up to her. I was like, wow, you understand the beauty industry. My mom didn't even have a phone, a cell phone. She had a flip phone, not even a real phone. And so seeing this older woman who works in the beauty industry, who supposedly knows all these insider things, which I didn't know, half of her resume was BS, I didn't know that. I was like, oh my God, I just want to be a good businesswoman. Entrepreneurship has always excited me. I grew up in the Bay Area. Silicon Valley is a thing. I was so excited. And she ended up setting me up with a lot of deals that were not good for me. One was chapstick. I'm vegan. I'm cruelty-free. I don't believe in exploiting animals or other humans. And chapstick, it's not something I'm passionate about. When I was young, yeah, I would use it because my mom had it, or I would pick it up at the grocery store, but I did not live and breathe chapstick. And I filmed this video for chapstick that I just wasn't proud of. And that was the tip of the iceberg, but then it got worse. I'm vegan. It's a moral, ethical choice of mine that happens to touch other areas of my body or of my life, such as health and wellness. My manager asked me to promote a steakhouse. A steakhouse. Yeah. If you remember, I filmed a video in my car that I uploaded to YouTube with snot hanging out of my nose. I was bawling. That was after a brand deal that I was so excited about. I was told that I was gonna talk about acne, I was gonna help people with their skin, we were gonna get into the science, I was gonna collaborate with dermatologists. I took a large contract that I was really excited about. And the contract ended up being nothing like I expected. She signed that contract on my behalf, and she told me this is fine. She had my signature on her desktop, and she had the authority to sign contracts on my behalf because I was dumb enough to do some sort of agreement. It was power of attorney, but then it wasn't official, but then it was. Long story, I was a dumbass, and I trusted people way more than I should have. But I got signed up for these contracts that didn't end up being what they needed to be. And even the producer who was producing this segment of acne videos was like, Cassandra, this woman is taking advantage of you. And that was the moment that I was like, other people have been telling me this, I don't know what to do. I would feel lost without her. I don't understand. And that's when I talked to my friend, realized that the resume was BS, realized that how I was compromising my morals and my values, how she's not a bad person. Our morals and values just didn't align, and that wasn't a fit for me. And yeah, so that contract ended up being cut because I literally was like, this is not what I expected. And thank God that happened, because I mean, essentially I thought I was going to be teaching people about acne, and it turned into promote these 5 products. And I don't mind talking about the science behind products, but the second you ask me to endorse a product that I don't agree with, like, I can't do that. And the fact that I did that in the past is why I really hurt a lot of the people who supported me. I mean, I started blogging about acne because I knew what it felt like to run into a Sephora and not have options and not know what's right for my skin or what's gonna work or what's not. And like, to be taken advantage of by marketing. And then it wasn't until this managerial experience that I realized I have become that of which I hate. I was promoting chapstick and something that I didn't believe in because I wanted to be good enough, because I was told that this was the right thing to do, because I let someone else's morals and values override my own. So that's why I fired my manager, and then she stole money from me. That was the other problem, is that all of the money went to her first, and then she gave me what was left over. And I ended up putting a lot of time and effort into things that I never got paid for. I'm still at the point where, like, do I sue her? Because she's also wanted by like the IRS. That's a long story. And again, like, I never was gonna talk about these things, and I still don't know if I should, because it's nobody's business. But like, it also goes to show that, like, if you're like me and you're a trusting person, you do need to be careful. Especially if you're a YouTuber, if you wanna be, like, you don't know half the stuff that goes on until you get knee deep into it. But I got really burned, and I lost a lot of money. And even worse, I lost a lot of my morals and values. And then I did a 180, which is my 360, because you know 180 math. Anyways, I was like, F this. And I put a big middle finger up and I said, I can't be bought. I'm not gonna be a walking billboard. I don't care about trying to make my manager happy. I need to make my heart happy. I'm the one who goes to bed at night with my pillow. I'm the one who goes to sleep at night with me. And if I can't be comfortable with that person laying down on that bed, what is life worth living? And like, my ex-manager had issues on a whole bunch of stuff. But like Tati was saying, she would be pushy and she would demand things that I didn't even think were right. And like, my manager would demand certain perks for herself too. And I would sit there and I wouldn't speak up. But knowing that that happened to me, it happens a lot in the beauty industry. And this is where it goes wrong. Brands come in and they think that they can just purchase these people, or brands think that they can just purchase anyone and just wave a little bit of money in front of their face and people will say yes and promote a brand. And that's horrible, because it in the end takes advantage of the viewer. It takes advantage of the person who supports and trusts this opinion and then gets burned. And it makes me really angry to even think about, because it makes me angry when I did that in the past. And those couple of times, and then it makes me angry that it still happens today. And that's where it's like, a brand should also know, like, if I'm cruelty free and I'm vegan and you know this, and if someone tries to come in and promote a steakhouse, that's not gonna resonate with anybody here. Like, it's so dumb. And that's why brands need to be a little bit smarter. And something that Makeup Geek said, support the smaller influencers, like the small ones who are honest and are doing it for the passion, not for the money, not for the social climbing, not for the status, you know, not for the brand trips. Like, yeah. And that's the other problem, is that I get that brands want to take care of the people that support them, and I think that that's fine. But when that, for an influencer or for a YouTuber, becomes the basis of why they like that brand because they're getting special attention, that's just not cool. And again, that boils down to the morale of the person and that relationship with the brand, which is tricky. But then that's the second problem. The person needs to be receptive to the brand. And when the brand comes to them and says, promote this, they need to say, this is not gonna resonate with my audience. Also, I don't agree with your morals and values. There's no way you can buy me. And it wasn't until, I fired my manager that I stood up for myself and I made those decisions. I was always afraid of standing up. And let me tell you, it feels so good to do so. But it wasn't until recently, or until like the past couple years, that I started standing up like that. And I'm ashamed at the person that I was when I was under that management. And screw the management. Like, I made those choices as a human. I could have stood up, I could have stuck to my ground and my morals and my values, and I didn't. And it's something that I am deeply embarrassed by. But it's also something that I've learned from. And it's something that I promise won't happen again. And that feels really good to say. And it feels really good to grow from, too. But that being said, like, the influencer or the person needs to stand up and also put a big finger up to the brand and say, like, you can't buy me, you know? And it's frustrating because, like, you know, and I talk about it, it takes time for the skin to renew. We get a lot of packages sent to us all the time. Brands who really just want us to try things out or see what's new in the industry. And I tell all of those brands, you need to understand that we get a lot of packages, and I'm only going to choose a couple to try out because it takes time for my skin to respond. I have a limited amount of skin. It takes 28 days for the skin to renew. I've got my chest, my back, and my face, and my butt. Like, I can't sit here and be promoting 50 different products because it's not physically possible to test those out. And if I'm talking about the science behind an ingredient, I can look at the science, but I can't give a personal claim to that. And when I see other bloggers who are like, oh, I'm trying this a week later and I know that it works, I'm like, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but like, that's not an opinion that I can trust. And as a viewer, it disappoints me because it makes me trust less in that person's opinion and not want to watch their content. And as a viewer, that's upsetting. And now I know how viewers felt when I promoted chapstick years ago, you know? But I think that's one of the biggest issues as well, is that when this brand infiltration happened that wasn't authentically matched, that's when it got bad, because people were like, oh, I just want to be famous. I want to earn money. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to get AdSense. And it wasn't about the passion for the content or for the science or for the beauty or for the makeup or for the art. It was just this popularity contest, drama, money. And I get it. Money is important. I'm glad that my life got turned upside down. I'm glad that I was $40,000 in debt and had to pull myself out. I'm glad that I got smacked upside the face by life and had to flip my life over. Because if not, I would still be a very materialistic, lying person that I used to be. And that's not true of other people. That is my history. And yeah, I'm happy that it happened. But I also see other people who I can see characteristics of myself who I want to be in the future that I respect, and also things about me in the past that I really look back on and I don't like. And yeah, it's interesting to see how YouTube has changed in that way. And like Susan said, it's a village. It went from a village to this huge city, and you can't possibly manage all of that kind of stuff, you know? And like when it comes to brand sponsorships, they're a good thing if they're done right. Some of my favorite sponsorships to date have been with Yes2 and with Juice Beauty. These are brands that are cruelty-free, they're ethical. Juice Beauty is organic. They and I stand for the exact same thing. They're brands that I have literally been using for years that have helped my skin. And then all of a sudden they're launching a new product and they say, we know that you've supported us for the past 10 years. Do you want to do a sponsorship with us? Hell yeah. And then they let me be creative and create the kind of content that I want, that matters to me, that matters to you, that's authentic. And I happen to be able to pay my student loans, and I happen to be able to put groceries on the table. That's when it's amazing. When it's not is when brands don't do their research. They don't know who is or isn't aligned. And a steakhouse, you know, or an adult toy company comes on over, knocks on Cassandra Bankson's email door and says, hi, can we pay you X amount to promote this? And I'm like, hell no. You know, but there are some people who say yes. And I guess that is frustrating for me, especially because I know what it feels like to buy products that, you know, I ended up getting ripped off by the brand, by the person, etc. So you know that you have this commitment from me. I hope that this clears up kind of how it was in the past for me. And yeah, YouTube has changed, but I think that with anything we change and we grow. I'm happy to say that I've changed for good. And I think that YouTube has as well. I think that YouTube has become this place for us to share, to connect, and to communicate. But as with anything good, there's going to be another side to it. And I think that it's important that you as a viewer know what you're putting your time and energy and attention into, because what you put your attention into grows. And if you put that into drama, there's gonna be more of it. And if you put that into things that you truly support and appreciate, then there's going to be more of that. And that's why I'm rethinking the collab thing. I'm like, why don't I put more of my time into the collabs that matter to me? Because if I love these people and their opinions, it's okay to share that. It's not social climbing. When it becomes social climbing is when it's like, we have nothing in common, let's use each other. That's just gross to me. Also, affiliate links. I don't really use affiliate links. I love Morphe brushes. Oh my God, I love Morphe brushes and I support them so much. Audible, I literally have like 400 audiobooks on my phone. I love Audible. But you've never heard me promote Morphe or Audible in a video. And I'm not saying that's to be like, oh, I'm mightier than other YouTubers. No, I think YouTubers should promote those things because they're amazing. But for me, affiliate links weren't a thing until after I had made that transition of being like, whoa, I'm not gonna let myself be sold. And that's why you really don't see them on my channel. And I've thought about doing them because like if it's a brand I truly trust and enjoy, maybe I should. But at the same time, for me, it's about the content, it's about the message more than it is the product, which is why you haven't seen those. And to reiterate what Tati said, I don't think it's bad that some YouTubers have affiliate links. I think that is important. I think that especially if you love that person's content, you should support their affiliate link if it's something that you actually think would enhance your life. That's a product that you're looking to buy. And just because someone's sponsored doesn't mean it's bad, but you need to be able to trust that person like a friend and trust their opinion. And if you don't know that person, if you don't know their opinion or their stance on things, or if they say and do things that contradict each other, that's when I think you as a viewer just need to be aware of that. And so that way you can choose what to listen to or what not to listen to, what to support and what not to support. Because this is a community. And I think that if we stand up for each other and what we really believe in, like this can be an amazing community where we share and we grow and we learn together. But it's when we lose track of our morals and values that kind of derails. And you've seen that like I focus on skincare, I focus on lifestyle, I focus on health and wellness and the science behind beauty. I'll still do a makeup tutorial every now and then, but like I stepped away from beauty and that's why. And I do love it and I do want to get back into it, but I also don't live and breathe art, which is why science is really my passion. And these are a lot of things that I have never talked about. I've never even spoken about like some of the experiences that I've had with people, but you support me. This is a huge part of my life. And I think that you deserve that. I don't know if I'll leave this up. I don't know if I'll delete it. But this is my opinion. This is my blog and I get to say how I feel. You know, one thing that Michelle Phan told me last time I saw her was like a month ago. We had this really great conversation. And again, it's not, again, I don't talk about people because like it's not my story to tell. I'm not gonna say anything that's her business, but like something she has shared publicly is why she left YouTube. And I don't blame her for her reasoning. I respect her so much as a business person. I respect the advice she's given me. Like, I love this woman and her cat. But like, I don't blame her, you know? And sometimes it isn't what you expect. Sorry, my camera battery died and my computer's overheating, which is why I need brand sponsorships so that I can afford tuition and a working computer. No, all jokes aside, demonetized. What was I saying though? I respect this woman's opinion so much and she's spoken about this publicly, which is why I'm resharing it, but it wasn't for her. And I think that as YouTubers, we all have to grow and we have to stay authentic to ourselves. And if that means changing direction because you realize that you were climbing a mountain that doesn't belong to you, you were climbing someone else's mountain, going on someone else's journey to success, you need to reroute that and choose what's right for you. And that's kind of why I chose to focus more on skincare, because that's what was right for me. And I felt kind of pigeonholed into this beauty space because like, oh, model with acne, you know, really insecure girl trying to cover things up, trying to use makeup to do that. It worked, but like makeup wasn't super my passion. It was always skincare. And I have to be honest, I'm a lot happier now than I ever have been. And it's because I've been true to myself, and it's not about the numbers or the views, but it's about the creation of the content. And there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that are really, really amazing and really trustworthy. And I'm actually, you know, because if you love something, support it so it'll grow. I'm gonna leave a gigantic list below this video of YouTubers that I love and trust. From minimalism to makeup to skincare, some that are sponsored, some that aren't, huge channels, small channels. These are the people that I watch. You can actually just go to my page and look at the people I subscribe to. But they deserve recognition, you know, and if you love somebody and if you appreciate their content, reach out and say something. Because one thing that I can vouch for as a creator is that I love creating content, but you know, editing isn't always that fun and you do hit a lot of walls. And especially if you're having a bad day and you're trying to create content and put it out there, you don't have that gratification of knowing that it helps someone or feeling connected to someone until you get to hit post. And because videos take so long to film, edit, and produce, it might be a couple days before you get that. And if you love someone's content, just post a comment. Let them know. You know, we're human, we all want to be noticed and feel heard. Just say like, hey, your content means something to me, you know, or this is why something you said makes me feel better or that I can relate to. Because if a YouTuber reads those comments, I think it really matters. So I will leave links to people that I know and people that I don't know. Some of my actual friends and some people who are just random who I literally love the content of. Fashion by Ali, Gabriel Zamora, Tati, Pickup Limes, Brian Turner, Crash Course Physics. Like, oh God, if you just look at my channel, you can see them, but I'll link them below. And I smile so much when I talk about this because like, I literally feel like these people have inspired me in so many different ways. And yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna delete this video. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it up, but that is my truth. That is where I'm at. That is a lot of stuff that I never thought I would talk about. It probably isn't super important to share. And I was gonna say it's not my business to share, but it is my business to share. And normally I'm the kind of person who keeps quiet about this stuff just because I grew up being told and learning how to keep quiet. But I don't need to be quiet. And especially if you support me, you deserve to know, I guess, how I feel and where I come from and those mistakes that I've made and how I've corrected them. And also like a little call to action to support the people who deserve that supporting. Shane Dawson. Dude, Shane Dawson. Yeah. What's the future of YouTube? It's in your hands. The future of YouTube and the future of this community coming together, supporting each other and sharing information, or tearing each other down and spreading hate and that's up to you. The internet seems to just be like this one big offended, butthurt system, but I think that we have the power to change that. And remember that what you put your attention on grows, and where you put your focus matters. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for hearing me out. And again, this video isn't to prove anything. It isn't to say anything. It's just to kind of share what I've been feeling. And also as a tribute and a thank you to the creators who have inspired me to be a better person and to speak up about things that I don't feel like I need to speak up on, but that does matter. And maybe someone can take this and learn a lesson themselves to speak up or to stand up for their morals and values, or some of the lessons that I've learned. If you want videos in the future on like the business of YouTube, or like a lot of people don't know that I do social media consulting, or a lot of stuff that I do in laboratories or brand work, which I'm really passionate about because I go at it of an angle of like philanthropy and basically connecting brands to bigger purposes and trying to get brands to see consumers as amazing tools for change as opposed to just money machines. But I don't talk about that because it's like, oh, doesn't belong on YouTube, or I've been told not to. But if it interests me, it must interest someone else, right? Anyways, I love you to pieces. I appreciate the support that you've given me, or even if you don't support me, I appreciate the time that you've given me here. So keep paying attention to the things that matter to you. Know that I love you and I appreciate you. And yeah, I can't wait to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.